Hello and welcome to another episode of Lean Living. Today I'd like to discuss vegetarianism. So, the different aspects of whether you should or shouldn't eat meat. Entirely your decision. However, I find if you have all the facts, you can make more of a intelligent decision. I myself am a vegetarian, but possibly not in the standard camp of vegetarians. I come from a mainly carnivore background, being half French, and so spent most of my life eating meat and very little on the vegetable side of things. In fact, I really didn't like vegetables or fruit whatsoever in any kind of way, but the reasons why I changed is a little more personal kind of things, but so I won't really go into that because otherwise it would be an episode all about me. But essentially, the things you have to consider when to eat or not to eat meat is the different parts of it. So you have a moral aspect to it. So the conditions in which generally factory farmed animals are kept in, the feces they are routinely stepping in, the close proximity to the other animals in which they are kept, the modes of transport which are used to pack them from one side of the country to another, and the slaughterhouses which are like some kind of horror house of nastiness. Now that's the aspect of the moral side of things. There's also, as well as that, there's also kind of like a health point to it. Because these animals are kept in large numbers, have diseases which they get are routinely treated with antibiotics, which are misused in the way of treating before any illnesses are actually present, which has little to no effect on the actual illnesses they actually suffer from, as well as making, by accumulating in the animal's flesh or byproducts, which you therefore ingest yourself. These are all things you have to take into account. When it comes to bioaccumulation of toxins and medications, you almost must take into consideration the fact that herbivores like cows are now generally fed grains which can be GMO or quite heavily pesticide laden feeds. Now, cows are ruminants. They are supposed to eat grass. They can get by with grain. Unfortunately, it's not something they digest. It doesn't make them feel particularly comfortable getting routinely fed this. However, it's something to take into consideration when it's actually talking about, when you considering the suffering that they actually go through, as well as the accumulation of these toxins in their flesh, and which mainly actually gets concentrated in the fats. So if you're buying or can't buy the grass-fed beef or other things like that, even though I'm not a big fan of low-fat stuff, I would say if you're buying non-organic animal products, to possibly steer towards the low-fat stuff, as the concentrations in the fats would actually accumulate to dangerous levels, especially if you were to actually eat them on a regular basis. There's another aspect of vegetarianism, which is vegans. Vegans which consume no animal products whatsoever. This would not suit me, as it's a little too far out of my comfort zone, being someone that, even though doesn't not eat meat or partake in flesh in any kind of way, I still do appreciate the meaty dishes, in terms of I recognise that they are still pretty tasty, and when I'm very hungry, it's I don't struggle with it because I've made a decision. I've made a vow not to actually indulge in these things, but it can make me hungry when I smell a hamburger, if I'm actually starving and stuff. So just things to consider there. as I said, there's a health aspect to it, there's a moral aspect to it. Investigate a little bit further into means to actually find animal products, and or steer clear of them completely. Obviously, vegans also don't consume honey because it's considered an animal product, and being a beekeeper myself, that wouldn't fly with me. So take that into consideration. One last thing is that obviously it's a big life decision. Not to judge other people by the decisions they make as well. I don't have any problems with people who eat meats. I don't have problems with people who want to steer clear of meats and animal products completely. I'd say we all have these decisions to make in life as to the paths we take, and not to judge other people on these decisions that they have made, and not to find and make people and force people to actually take your particular point of view. I think in ways to actually change and influence people, the better way to actually do things is often by example. You can't tell people how they should live. You can only demonstrate by the way that you actually get by yourself as to influence their decisions in the future. If you were to source products, animal products and various meats, I encourage you to look at grass-fed and organic kind of meats and various products, as they contain less toxins. So that means going to your farmers markets, possibly to raise livestock yourself, if you are able to slaughter them yourselves or have someone else slaughter them. Some may deem this as slightly cruel, but I think that people who look after the animals and use their products and flesh and various other things have a little more respect for the animal itself, even though some may disagree with me. I think that if you look after an animal, it's in your care, it's your responsibility, and it's taking a life or using an animal for the things that they actually produce is a little more connection with the animal itself, and leads you to respect it a little bit more, I find, in my personal opinion. So I have less problem with people who look after and slaughter their own animals, because I know it can't be an easy thing to do. That the same with hunting as well, to a certain degree, as long as it's not trophy hunting and it's hunting purely for eating the actual animals itself, then I have less problem with that. But these are all decisions you have to make on your own. Like I said, the more research, the more information you have, the better a decision you can actually make yourself. I'm not entirely convinced about the vegan way of life, but that's purely because I have some problems with the long-term health of people without essential fats which generally derive from animal products. Having said that, I talk with very little experience on the thing. Vegetarianism is a fairly new thing that I've actually taken on, and I can't by any means be an expert on these things, but I say to each their own. Don't judge people, and just stay cool with whatever decisions people have made, and just help them, support them in their various forms of health and eating. So anyway, another one to think about. Hopefully that helps some of you. Hopefully the vegans aren't too angry with me. If so, very sorry, and I shall speak to you again.